Yeah,
Yeah.
go put the bottom one.
That's the cool part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
These prices are phenomenal.
Well, yeah,
Advanced admission, $3. That's incredible.
Hard Rock Productions.
Wheaton use center.
Do you remember doing? So you do remember doing posters for the?
We had
Yeah,
what
we did. I do
what we
remember.
did is there were a couple times where we would do what they call stock designs, and our stock designs. This we didn't do much of, but we had a stock design like this, and we would run maybe 100, maybe like 500 or so, and then you come in. Let's say you're Hard Rock Productions. You come in and say, I need something real quick. I want something different. Can you do something psychedelic and all? Well, this, how do I explain it?
This would have been the red would have been pre-printed. We had these in different colors. Red,
Most,
yellow,
You have
blue.
When
Template.
what has happened is there's a certain culture and set of people, especially in the city, that have seen these posters. So it was easy to put another one up for advertising. And like I said, that poster's there until somebody tears it down. So it is a great form of advertising for it just being up all the time. And I think, and like I say, it's still the cheapest form. So people that didn't want to put a lot of money out and also wanted to send out a message and all would buy the posters.
But our best form of advertising, of course, was the poster itself. But all our posters had our name on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely a
Good
plus.
move.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the owner at that time was Norman Chaparro, and he says, well, don't you have anybody out here? Somebody asked Norman, he said, don't you have anybody out there as a salesman? He says, our salesman is that logo on the bottom, the name down there on the bottom of the poster. That's my only logo. And what's hard to sell, it's hard to find promoters, because today you're TP production, tomorrow you're TINP production.
Well, that's what I was explaining
So
before.
it's hard for us to go out and try to recruit promoters,
Other-
because today you could be a promoter and all you need is the cash behind you and to find some acts, and that's
I mean,
it.
you're not listed in the phone book as a promoter.
And like I say,
so-
most of ours were small-time people, and I mean big-time people too, but a lot of them were small-time people who just, it was doing the show and everything, posters and all, for maybe $400, $500. So that was his whole,
Really low margin of.
and you had
But
to.
there wasn't a promoter in the U.S. that didn't know us. I mean, we back in this, especially the '80s and '90s, were pretty popular, and any promoter that had been around for any length of time knew Globe Poster. So it was. And that was really something to be proud of, I thought. And there were some companies that mimicked our work. And, some people would come to me and say, gee, you really must be angry at so-and-so because their poster looks similar to yours, although we can tell it's not yours. I mean, the only thing I would say is, well, I really feel good about it because obviously they liked our work, so that's saying something right there.
Were you surprised when the posters started taking on this kind of museum quality, or they were becoming collectible?
Well, yeah, because we seeing them every day took it for granted. I mean, I kept on saying, well, who in the heck would put this up in their house or whatever? Because we saw it every day. It was not as fascinating as they really were. And now we do appreciate once we understood where everybody was coming from, we do understand the art of it, and it's and how Globe Poster affected the advertising world for show posters. I mean, we really developed it.
When we came out with the fluorescent inks and it was changed, we just did it only because we thought it would look good, and then it took on and people started buying it. And at that time, you're not thinking as a piece of art. In fact, in those days, people would say that there's no way that's a piece of art. I mean, that, it's just, advertising. Now, 40 or 50 years later, it's a piece of art. And being we were one of the first ones with using those fluorescent inks and making it important, and other people had, gone off on it, I can understand, and looking back, and in retrospect, you look back and you say, oh, you know what, I can see why people have cared about it and love it. And I see people talk about it all the time. And then, it's funny, just about when things are slowing up and everything, you get another phone call and somebody says, I'm going to come over and interview you. And then you get back into saying, oh my God, I guess it still is important. So.
Well, I think it's interesting because years ago, a commercial printer would not really consider this to be printing. They would be printing books and all this commercial print, and ours would be not as sophisticated.
Oh, they had other words.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say I know what they used to call us, but I'm not going to say it. But it's nice that things have come around, and our art now is appreciated in the advertising world. In fact, a lot of advertisers like our motif and ask us on occasion, not very often, to set up something to look old in our format. So.
In fact, we don't have to make it look old. We just do it that way.
Our type is pretty. The newest type we have in shop, the newest piece of wood type, was bought in 1946. So nothing in this part of
this section
in this shop, in this section, is new. Most of our type, I guess, goes back to 1929 and before, because I thought when this company started that all the type was used type to begin with, and I'm pretty sure that was pretty true. So I think that a lot of the type could be 100 years old or so.
That's amazing.